of no value to you. You still have to decide that the best thing to do is vote the right person in spite of whatever situation you find yourself in terms of hunger or not hunger. Just get through the right person. Unfortunately, Nigerians have yet to get to that.
Okay. Still on the issue of whether Nigerians really know what the poll is and its importance, Ma, I would like to ask, do you think possibly it's as a result of, let's say, the education of voters? Because if you are really educated, you know what is expected of you as in Nigeria. So will we say it's as a result of lack of electoral education, or what really is the problem that Nigerians are yet to understand the implication of not knowing what their right is when it comes to the polls and also its importance?
Okay, we actually cannot rule that out, that there need to be more education, there need to be more enlightenment for the voters. But I believe, just like he has said, there are other issues that are also involved in the right to vote, in some knowing your right to vote, what to do. Because yes, a lot of the high level of Nigerian populations are, population is uneducated. You can't rule that out. But the factor that has to do with poverty, you know, which makes people want to sell their vote, just like he has said, he has emphasized earlier. You sell your vote for what you want to get now, rather than invest your vote for what you could get later, for what the whole community, your whole country and posterity, you know, would benefit, you know. And then you also have ignorance. People are ignorant about their responsibility. What is it that we need to do? What do you need to do? How do we change the world? You need to, a lot of times we wait until information is being brought to us. You know, you wait for, it's the duty of the government or anybody that is in civic education to bring information to you. But we need to move beyond that. We need to start going out to look for information for ourselves. We can't continue to say, okay, we are not educated. The people who know that we need education to empower ourselves, they know that. That is why they come and give you what you need to remain where you are, so that you don't grow. So we will continue to wait for those people who know the right thing to do and are refusing to do that. You need to go out and look for information for yourself and know what it is that is invested in that right to vote.
Okay, still looking at the fact that people who are at the position to make sure that Nigerians are educated. Now, taking a look at our population entirely, we are about 210 million naira. Yeah. And they're looking at the low turnout of votes. Let's look from 2003, for instance. It was already ruled out that there were just 69% of voters that turned out. And then it kept dropping. In 2019, we had just 35%. Now, what can we say really, sir, I'd like to come back to you again. What would we say really is responsible for the low turnout of voters?
Well, life generally gives you an opportunity every time you have a challenge facing you. And the meaning here is that for whatever it is you allow or whatever it is you value, you enhance it. Whatever it is that you don't value, you don't enhance it. The country has shown consistently, political leaders and civic society and of course a collective sense of irresponsibility by all of us to assume that if somebody doesn't perform, the best thing to do is to go through what we call voter apathy, to say, okay, I don't care. I mean, the votes doesn't count, so I will not really do that. I will not really come out and vote again. Instead of saying that this is the huge opportunity I have to knock this person out, to knock this system out, to knock this party out. Nigerians consistently have been exposed to leaders from 1999 to date. The quality of leadership is not growing. Information has leveled the world. With a touch of a button, you can get to anywhere in the world. Technology has made the world flat. Exactly. So our leaders do not realize that followership has grown. And we as the leaders are still where they are, assuming that the best thing. I was shocked to find out that the same campaign promises made by MKO Abiola in 1994, when I was still in secondary school, is the same battle that we're still in here talking about. So that has created some kind of hopelessness in people that we're not too sure that if we take this decision, this can literally improve. That is on one side. Secondly, you need to also understand how electioneering processes are conducted in this country and how results are released. I've had the rare opportunity of observing how elections are done in this country, and where, as of recent, as about 3 years ago, we have seen where an electoral officer who has a result in his hands hears the result somewhere else being announced. So it gives the idea that it's actually not the votes that count. Some people decide these things before elections are even conducted. Unfortunately for us, we sit back, get angry, and do nothing about it. Get angry and do not question the process. Get angry and do not follow the courts, the process of law, to strictly insist that this has not been done right and it should be done right. So at the end of the day, people just sit down and say, okay, fine, if I didn't vote, or I voted and it didn't count, why should I go there again? So you can see the drop from President Obasanjo to President Muhammadu Buhari, from about 64% of voters. We're getting to half of that in 2015 and downwards. So it's critical that we are shortchanging ourselves by becoming very docile about the situations that are affecting us. People just feel that if these results are not getting anywhere, there's no need for me to go. I've also seen where results elections are cancelled, and people are told that we need to conduct a fresh elections. You go back there and you discover that you have lesser number going there. Every time the volume of people that should be able to vote do not come out to do it, it creates a very palatable platform for people to actually cheat, actually read the elections. Unfortunately, we're doing that to ourselves. We are creating that situation for ourselves and destroying ourselves at the end of the day. I think, again, we go back to the question, do we really understand what it means to be in a democratic setting? Do we really understand what democracy means? Do we understand the power of individual votes? Do we understand what the law says? I'm pretty sure that as I'm talking, some other people are saying, you have never been to the courts and see, and I'm happy my sister here who's a lawyer, it now again bounces back at our law courts, whether the justice system can actually deliver what is required, or whether the justice system can uphold the decision of the people. But again, I understand in law that the decisions outside of the court shouldn't affect what happens inside the courtroom. But of course we can send signals. If we do not agree, what then did we do about it? The last time you did not agree, it stopped at the Court of Appeal. The first point of tribunal. You had an opportunity to go to Court of Appeal. What did you do about it? What did you do about going to the Supreme Court? What efforts? Assuming you did not get it at the Supreme Court, what mobilization did you do later to make sure that people create that level of awareness? Yes, she made mention of the fact that we can't keep waiting for people who should come and give us the right information. From day one, they want to shortchange the system. Why should they give you the information? So what's your community doing? What are the churches doing? What are the mosques doing? What are the community leaders doing? What are the families doing? Today you talk about the economic level of this country, and your borrowing against your revenue is 92%. The meaning here is nobody is excused. Let me say this. Maybe we don't even understand these decisions. For every single Nigerian, the 210 million people you're talking about, every one of us is indebted to the tune of close to 120,000 naira. And somebody was just giving birth to today, and he's part of the journey. He's only reducing how much you are going to pay because of his number, not because of the productivity we're putting in. So what else have you done? But this is a country that believes in so much religion without spirituality, so much talk about what can be done, the potential, without actually commitment to activate the potential that there is in it. So I think we are still yet to understand that the issue is not just the political. In any case, these leaders come from where? They come from the followers. So if we're saying that they are not giving us what we want, we need to also ask ourselves, who are we throwing at the polls? Are they our best? I remember a professor from Kenya who had a series of meetings with people, and he said he had town hall meetings, and somebody just came with a bag of money and just knocked him out. So again, we are saying that we don't care about our future, and one way we show it is being careless with our votes.
So that means, in essence, we are just after the instant gratification,
And in any
to be
case,
satisfied.
as a business consultant, when you talk about instant gratification, I would have even thought about the value as against my future. That's when we come time value of money. I mean, how much of your 500 would be of importance to me in the next 4 years? What value would it really bring to me? So I thought that if I was going to be selling that, I would have been selling at 200 million.
I don't think it's about the value
Good.
for them. It's about what they think they will get. These politicians come promising the world, and then they don't hear anything from them until 4 years later. So what do I get now for myself? What do I get now? They are not really quantifying, okay, what is the value? And that is the need. That brings out the imperative for the education of voters. We need to know that beyond what you get now, what your vote mean for you, for your children to come, and for your generation to come. Because when you receive that pack of Maggi or you receive that pack of salt, then you are invariably saying, okay, this is what I can get from these 4 years, you know. But you are now changing yourself to what you can get if you actually know the value of what you hold. They don't know the value. And just like you said, I am going to somehow align myself with the narrative about corruption and how it plays out on people coming out to vote. A lot of Nigerians don't come out to vote because they are like, okay, what's the point? At the end of it, the results are going to be changed anyway. I was privileged to participate last election with my husband actually in I was a, what do you call it, collation officer. And I knew that even in my what do you call it, yeah, it's not a union now, I think the we had cancelled like 2 results, you know, but when the result was later on announced, those units were not announced as being cancelled.
They were factored into.
Yes, they were. There was no problem. They said that it was not it was not contested. You know. So, how do you feel as somebody who was there and you know what happened, and then you come out, okay, I want to vote again? That is completely demoralizing. You know, people don't want to come out because they know that tomorrow it's going to change. But we need to know that we need to turn up. You need to come out again and again. The system is gradually changing. The social media is helping us. You know, even if what has been changed is the situation, but we know that people know that this is not the situation and it's not going to continue like that. So you need to say, okay, they may do this, but we are going to come out in our numbers. They may change the result, but we are going to come out in our numbers and we're going to vote. And our voice will speak. So even if it's not going to speak now, posterity will speak for us. At least I didn't collect whatever they are giving us now. So we need to be consistent. And just like he said, parents, the church, community leaders, we need to continue to educate ourselves about the value of votes, our votes, our polling power. We need to do that as young as our children are. Let's not say, okay, it's a waste of time for them, or you're going to just waste the whole day. A lot of youth will say it's a waste of time anyway. At the end of it, what is it need for me? But you need to move on and continue to vote. That's just the language we need to
we are looking at solutions, what we need to do, because lots of people are losing their hope and their trust in the electoral system, because people say whether I vote or not, my vote doesn't count. So we need to know that it starts from the family. When you sit down as a family, what do you discuss? Because people, especially the church, it's right now that we're coming out to say that the church must be involved in politics, because the church tends to shy away. Politics is being seen as a dirty game and nobody wants to get involved in it for the fear of their lives. If you want to speak the truth, people look at you, and when you speak the truth right now, your life will be after. So I think these are things we really need to look into as a nation. Now, the next thing that will come to mind right now will be, okay, we are encouraging people to turn up at the polls. What if they turn up because already, according to our constitution, when you are 18 years and above, you are eligible to vote? Now, how do we tell Nigerians the proper way to vote? Because someone can just go, we are talking about education. So people can just go and say, okay, already they told us that when we go, look for whether it's a broom, or it's umbrella, or it's a horse, or it's a shoe. Now, how do we help Nigerians know that it is their right It is their future, and so you need to do the right thing. How do we tell Nigerians this?
Well, for every political party, it certainly has a symbolic representation that gives an idea, and people are mobilized also by that symbolic representation, whether it's is a corn or is a yam somewhere, a pillar, or whether a pillar or something. But there's a symbolic representation. Again, what I have as a serious challenge for most of us is that even the political parties do not have a system of educating their own people. They do not have institutions. You go to the United States or the UK and you discover that. I give an instance in the UK that for every, whether it's the Conservatives or the Labour Party that wins, the opposition matches every appointment with another person. For instance, if you're putting a Secretary of State, what we call External Affairs Minister here, or Foreign Affairs Minister, the opposition creates another office and puts up a person to challenge whatever the policies that's coming up from here. But you see, you don't do that when you don't mobilize your people. When you lose an election as a political party, it's a fight all through. Instead of mobilization, sitting down with the people and saying that let's go and talk to these people. This is the possibility of the things we can do. Look at what is happening with the opposition party here in Plateau State or even in Nigeria. At what point has the PDP ever called its own people to let's sensitize our people? Let's do what we need to do. We're busy trying to. They're either aligning themselves or fighting, and then creating a lot of tension for themselves.
Accusations.
Yes, carpet. What do you call it? Cross carpeting.
Yes.
So the political parties, first of all, have a responsibility to educate. They have a system of saying that every year we do it's not a convention of choosing who our leaders are. We do a convention at the ward level. We do a convention at the state level. We do a convention at the national level to educate our people, to educate our members on what it means to vote. Why should people be surprised or confused at the day of the voting on what I represent? Why? Because we never educated them on our own side. Now you can't leave it to INEC in our own case. INEC is looking for the cheapest way to run an election. INEC is looking for a way to make sure that whatever it is, it does not. In fact, it's better for you to make more confused, what do we call them? Stampings, so that they can show the world that it's invalid, than they are not too sure what actually happened. So you don't leave that in their own hands. You take the responsibility as a political party to do. However, they have a vote for it. They have run jingles, they have done things that should be able to show people the right way to vote. That is on one side. The other side is the community leaders themselves. You don't sit down to discuss how... I was in a meeting where there was this issue of political leaders not coming with what we call constituency allowance. And they were being chased by EFCC and ICPC everywhere. And in that meeting, I asked, what exactly did we tell these people to do that they are not doing, that is even bothering us at the moment? What exactly? We don't even have demands. We don't understand what exactly they were supposed to do. So every time you don't have that kind of opportunity to tell yourself and tell the people, this is exactly what we're going for, you should expect the kind of confusion that's going to go on. Then you have a system called Nigeria that every time somebody feels aggrieved with the other political party, sometimes they don't even cross carpet, they create a political party.
Yeah, it's like they're doing now.
Now, when they create the political party, the meaning here is like an architect trying to build a house. For everything you tell him, for every addition in terms of design is a space. So every time you tell the political umpire that we're creating another political party, it means that our ballot paper is going to be increasing.
Oh, longer.
So how can you run a system of 210 million people with about 70-something political parties, when you have another country with over 450 million people with just two and one independent candidature that is allowed to do it? So yes, we want liberalization, we want to have a democratic system, but it shouldn't change the system of taking decision as fast as you can. You're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're an independent candidate. That's what the United States tells you. You're conservative, you are a Labour guy. I mean, that's what the UK tells you. You are on the far right, far left, or whatever, Christian or whatever in Germany. That's what it says. But this is what we do because we are not committed to being able to discuss issues at the end of the day, come out with internal democracy within the political parties. Everybody feels that if he can get an office in Abuja, one in 24 other states, he has a political party. And why should INEC be encouraging them by giving them more money? Because if you have a political party, there's a particular sum of money that is sent to you. Again, Nigerians have turned politics into vocation instead of a platform to choosing people and making sure that they do the right thing. So these are some of the complexities that come. But I think, again, it goes back to the Nigerian voter. If you're interested in a thing, you look out for it, you enhance your capacity to do the right thing. But if you're not interested, you can actually, can you imagine that in 4 years, I'll make a mistake who my president should be? Then it says a lot about whether I believe in the country or not.
Exactly. Tell a lot about your person. Viewers, we have been looking at getting it wrong from the polls, and we've looked at the implications of choosing the wrong party, the implications of electoral education, because it's important that we're educated on what we intend to do. When we come back from this break, I'll open the phone line so you can call in and give us your contribution on the topic discussed. Let's take this break. We'll be back. You're welcome. It's still National Talk on ECWA TV Africa. It's a special edition of the 1st of October. And I'm Seda Elisha, and I have with me two great guests. I have Barrister Leah Mark Bulus, and I also have Mr. Victor Kuchiri. And the topic so far has been getting it wrong from the polls. And just like I said before we went on the break, the phone lines are open, so we'll please indulge you to call in, give us your contribution. Please remember that you have just 30 seconds for your contribution, because other callers will be waiting also to contribute. So before we went on that break, sir, we're looking at the education, how we need to be educated, and we also look at the fact that lots of people have gotten discouraged turning out at the polls. In fact, INEC said that Nigeria have wasted 255 billion naira as a result of people not turning out. So you now question now will begin to rise up. Where is this money going to? Why do we keep sending such an amount of money when people still don't turn up? And just before we end on that break, we're looking at how people can see the need, why the people need to see the need, why they need to turn up at the polls to elect their members. So right now, I would like to pick a call. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yes,
You're live. Please make your contribution.
The truth is that Nigeria is just slow in terms of thoughts. And like, I don't really know where we are moving in this point.
Are you still there? I think we have lost that caller. Please, when you call in, let us know your name, where you're calling us from, and then you drop your contribution. Yes, we're still looking at
well, let me say, we've lost much more than that. We've lost who we are. We've lost an identity. I mean, 250 billion, I wouldn't say it's nothing, but we've lost who we are. Are we Nigerians? Do we believe in this country? Can Nigerians die for this country?
Sorry, sir, let me call you. Well, let's pick a call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're on to National Talk.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Please make your contribution.
Hello?
Yes, sir, please, we can hear you. Move from your TV set so you can make your contribution.
I am... I'm coming from Road.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Please go on.
Okay. drawn from the pool. The best thing to do is to cancel party primary election from Nigeria electoral system. It is the party primary that brings in all kinds of dubious politicians. If they just come up and do the general election without going through party primary, we will have a clean election and we will have the kind of leaders that we need in this country. The party primary that is spoiling the country in all political parties.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that contribution. Yes, let's go on our discussion. Papa.
Okay. Well, I think he made a very, quite a drastic
Very drastic.
opinion.
Wow.
You would have also thought that, okay, if you don't have a primary system of choosing the election leaders, we could actually have anybody who is 18 to contest for the presidency, or at least the law says you need to be above 45 to contest for the presidency and all that. So anybody at that can actually just decide to have a post. So you
How
can
do you
imagine the
manage-
rowdiness.
How do you manage that?
Yes, the rowdiness that
Yes.
will be created. I understand the internal democracy is a problem.
Hello. Sorry, name contribution. Hello. You're good. Good evening.
I'm calling from here at the market.
Okay, please make your contribution.
Okay. Yes?
Yes, sir. You're live. Please make your contribution.
Okay, my name is Patrick. I'm calling from here at the market.
Okay.
The issue of the problem we have is we are getting to from the board, number one, and I agree with my fellow brother here. The problem we have, major problem we have with the political party. The political parties are the ones that are making the regularity and corruption runs from the political. If they wish they are independent candidates, I think we will get it right. Let there be no political party, let everybody can be candidate. I think that is my concern.
All right. Thank you so much.
That is the main corruption. That's the main problem we are having in this country.
Thank you so much, sir.
Wow.
He's aligning with the.
Yeah,
Well, you know, when if you ask for my point of view, corruption starts from even the family. It determines on little responsibilities given to you.
Yeah.
How are you able to handle those responsibilities? Now we're looking at the fact that voters don't turn out, and this will take us down to the fact that why do people sell and buy votes? Because when you permit somebody to sell his or her vote, that means we are promoting the corruption, and you're telling he or she that it is okay to pay money for anything. So I think we really need to sit down as Nigerians to know. We have a caller. Hello, who is on the line?
Yes, my name is calling from Accra.
Okay, please make your contribution.
Wow.
Okay, please, I see another platform that is getting electronic.
Okay.
I really electronic vote.
Okay.
Especially with this version. Since the age and electronic voting, at least.
Okay. I think that call is breaking.
network is-
So I hope you call back again to make your contribution.
I think
Yes,
we
Oma, I don't know
shouldn't
if you'd
stop.
like to respond to that.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't conclude on this discussion without talking about electronic voting.
Yeah.
It's something that I think it could be a quantum leap for us as a political nation, you know, as a democratic nation rather, for allowing people to vote. A lot of time people complain because they are worried about the time spent waiting
Sorry,
to
man, I'd
cast
like to
your
cut
vote.
you short.
Okay.
Hello, who is on the line?
My name is Mr. Emmanuel.
Okay. You're welcome to the show. Please make your contribution.
No, my contribution is this. What can reduce the corruption or malpractice or violation in this country? If Nigeria can stand on their feet to stop all those people normally to come from political party to another, that is where the solution of this problem will be. Because you know, when somebody have corrupted other political party, they will run to the other ruling party and to cover the cost he has been with them. So that is the major problem that I'm looking at this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for calling. Ma, you were saying something.
Yes. Well, he has a point. You know, we're talking about it. Yeah, cross-carpeting, and the fact that the previous callers pointed at party primaries. You know, it's really difficult for new people who have vision for the country to penetrate the system. We cannot rule that out, that the politics within the party system is quite challenging. So I think that is why those people are identifying that as a problem, because it's really difficult for we keep recycling the same persons.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, please make your contribution.
I am Obi calling from Benue State.
Okay, sir.
I want to contribute to the program.
All right, sir. Go on, please.
Okay. I want to appreciate the young man in the studio.
Okay, thank you.
So,
And he has really contributed. And I want us to go beyond political differences and elaborate more on ethnic differences. Okay. People vote along the line of this man is a Muslim, this man is a Christian. Even when they are not qualified. Like he talked about the American system of government, where they go on debate. Then you will not know the person very well who to vote for and who not to vote for. That will bring the unity of the country, and they can easily rally against such a person. But why our political system fail is that once that man is from Maiduguri, everybody from Maiduguri will vote for him. Once he's from Maiduguri, everybody vote for him, even when he's not qualified. And that is where we get it all wrong. The times of Sadana and Vic, everybody was carried along. So I want them to enlighten the people more on that aspect.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, you know, he made a point.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. You know, he made a point there, the fact that we always put religion and ethnicity. So now, where's the place of competence? Where is the place of capability? Are we going to overrule all these things and say it's because she is from my place and then that's why I want to vote her when she's not competent enough? On the papers lately, we've been hearing whether we're going to do zoning, whether going back to the north or the south. These are issues we need to rule out. So, sir, I don't know, what do you have to say concerning issues like this?
I think you need to understand the Nigerian system. First of all, the Nigerian system has a weak... Okay?
Hello? Okay, please, you can
The Nigerian system has a very weak institutional sense of power. It has individual sense of power. Now, every time institutions are not strong enough, cross-carpeting is constitutionally provided for. Do you understand? In the electioneering processes, it's allowed. I mean, people can cross carpet. The problem is not whether somebody leaves a political party or moves to the other political party. The question is whether the institutions that are supposed to check him are actually given the powers to do that. I mean, how could you explain?
So sorry, sir, I need to cut you short. Hello, who is on the line? Can you move from your TV set so you can make your contribution, please? Hello? Okay.
So how do you explain Donald Trump that is being questioned by FBI? How do you explain Bill Clinton asked by a special investigator who, as a sitting president? How many people in this country, what guts has got EFCC chairman to walk to Buhari and say, we have questions for you to answer? Okay, fine, Buhari might be the president. Let him even go and check the Attorney General of the Federation. So once the institutions are weak, people can cross carpet and create a different carpet anywhere. The real issue is, are we allowing these institutions to function? Are we allowing people to take responsibility for their actions? There's also the other issue of ethnicity and religion. Go to the police station today. I'm happy she's a lawyer. Go to the police station today and attempt to the police take your what do you call it now?
Statement.
Your statement, and you find religion on it. No, what are they doing with that? Are we finding out whether there are more Buddhists who are criminals, or more Hindus who are criminals?
And we are a secular state.
And we are a secular state. The question is, a criminal just arrived or a great guy just arrived. That's all.
Yeah.
But we still do that. So every time you put it in the institutional processes, it sticks. People take advantage of that. We must start asking ourselves whether we are ready to remove that from our system. And I give you a very critical example. When former President
Sorry,
Obama...
sir, I need to cut you short.
Yes.
Hello, who is on the line? Good evening. Yes, hello, good evening. Please make your contribution.
Yes, I want to contribute to the program.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Please go on.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go on, sir. Please make your contribution.
Yes, I am a lighter. Also a lighter.
Okay, please go on, sir.
Yes. What I want to say is this. Actually, if we do not give our religious lineages, we will never fall perfect. All of us always talk about religion. But what I'm now saying is this. If really we want to see Nigeria grow, we should link all our lineages towards our religion, our tribe, our creed, and so on. So that we look for credible people that can do the job for us. And if we can do that, by the grace of God, Nigeria will come back to the past glory.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that great contribution. Yes, please, sir, you can
Yes,
go on.
I was trying to give an example of what happened when President Obama was going to run for what we call our State House of Assembly. They call it the State Senate. The process for you to even pick the form in the United States, you need to go to the communities and have them have a considerable number sign that they even know you. For you to go to pick a form from your own political party, nobody cares at that point whether you are a Democrat or a Republican or you want to run as an independent. You need to be able to show to the electoral body credible names, numbers, their email addresses, their everything about them that shows that they first of all know you, they can say that you are credible, and then they can vouch for you. But this doesn't happen here. People just wake up in the morning and they just want to run up for offices, and then we don't even care because, yes, ethnic lines. I have also observed recently, we have gone beyond religion. If you escape religion, it goes to ethnicity. If you escape ethnicity, it goes to community. If you escape community, it goes to hamlet. If you escape hamlet, it goes to family. From the family, I can guarantee you there was an election in this town that just happened that people from the same family, they had to tell the other person. It was zoned to their family. So again, every time you allow a thing, it grows. Exactly. It institutionalizes itself. It becomes a system. They just come in. Why would, at this point, 61 years, let's deduct the democratic experiences we've had, and yet we have not come to say, okay, it's not about the North or the South. It's about who is credible.
The person.
Who can tell us what we want, and the debates. This is the only country that a sitting president will never attend a debate. The sitting president in the United States did not only attend a debate, but the fact that he looked at his watch when the debate was going on, they got at him. Here, a sitting president will not go, a sitting governor will not go. Why? Because we are not ready to be asked. We are not ready to be... I keep wondering...
He feels he already has what it takes to move on. You know, we already zero it on corruption or resources. Resources, you can't buy votes. You know who you're going to... You know, they know they are going to be re-elected because of the position that they are in now. Imagine during the last presidential election in the United States where President Trump told them to stop counting the votes, and they said, no, we are going to continue. Can that happen in Nigeria?
No,
it definitely.
I don't know. The issues that we've been talking about, like, it's really baffling. You just gave example. Now, do you think we can abide this system of government in Nigeria? And also, because we've dwelt so much on how we've gotten it wrong. Now, how can we get it right at a nation? How can we get right at a post? Because 2023 is just by the corner. whether we like it or not, we'll see all these political officials going around to their communities again. And how many of them have gone back to give back to the community that has made them who they are today? Because the society plays, because I remember earlier when we started, we said that all this starts from where because we elected you. But can we call you back and say, you're not doing what we want you to do?
Yeah.
Can this thing happen here in Nigeria? And how can we get it right? I would like to start with you.
Well, we have the power. We have the constitutional right to call back our electives, people that we have placed in position. But like you asked the question, whether we can do it, that's the question. Now, people have been motivated by different gains, you know, whatever it is that motivates you. It's about whether my brother is in government, or whether I know who is in government, I'm going to eat from this government, or whether I know someone who knows somebody, or I'm getting contracts from this government. So people already have what motivates them. You can imagine that even when it is obvious that the government or the administrator or whoever is in position is getting it wrong, you have people supporting him, people trying to tell you, okay, no, you're not looking at it in the right way. Now, we need to move from people who have ulterior motives, people who do not have the interest of the country at heart, to people who we know have the interest of the country, yes, of the country at heart. And how do we do that? Like you said, corruption starts from the family. So it's a change between me, from myself to you. You know, the change, everybody has to look inwards. We are the people that need to make the change. You have to start the change from myself and then the next person before we can make the bigger change.
All right, so I'd like to come to you.
Yeah, yes. For me, usually I keep asking people, somebody doesn't become wrong only one day. He doesn't become,
it's a process.
yes, it's a process. We vote people without antecedents. We ask, you don't become the president of the United States without some clear antecedents. First of all, were you a senator? Were you a successful businessman? Were you a governor? You always find a president at that level with some experience, something that they can check. This is the only country that people can wake up from nowhere and just contest because they have some deep pockets and they want to. What are their antecedents? What have they actually been able to look at? If we value family, what is he like in his family? If we value business, what was he like? If we value leadership as a community, what are the community people saying about him? If the United States system will say that you need to go back to those communities and talk to the people and let them sign that they agree that you need to come. They are simply saying that we need to start checking you. You see, the system for me is not a question of who becomes president. The real issue for me is not about who becomes elected. The question is, what is the process of the election? And that takes me back to INEC crying that we have spent. They shouldn't tell us that they've wasted our money because they are also part of the system. What did they do to make sure that we didn't lose over 200 billion? Plasec in Plateau State or anywhere, whether it's in any other state, what are they doing to make sure we don't lose the money? What level of education and credibility are they coming to the field with? Can I actually vote and go to sleep? This is the only country that you must vote, you must follow, stay there, follow.
Exactly.
We are voting and we're endangering ourselves to put our leaders who will not even perform. This is the only country that you can't vote and go to sleep. This is the only country that people who are there to help us count the vote, they are scared because we might just kill them because we're not too sure of what happens. Let me say, I totally agree with the question of even electronic voting, which is very critical. Yes, but do you know in Oregon, in the United States, because of their economic involvement in whatever it is that they do, they don't even line up. They tell the communities that we don't have the time to line up. Do you know what they do? Is the mailing box system that they use. So when Donald Trump was insisting that no, we need to work on that, they are just looking at you. They can't lose their sense of business. This is the only country that if elections are happening, we must shut down
everything.
And then we expect that people are going to be normal. Was it not a system of corruption that allows for the shutting down of the whole system? And then it creates a system so that you go in and somebody comes with water to give you, and then he tells you it's from the other person who is there. So again, institutions must be strong. Okay. Institutions must be strong. We must have credible people in the institutions. The law It's they say is the last hope of the man,
resort of
for the man, and it's blind. Can it truly be blind to reality?
I think we've really exhausted our time so much, but I'd like to give each one maybe 10 seconds. Let's just give a recommendation, the way forward for us to get it right at the post. I would like to start with you, ma'am.
Well, for me, like I said earlier on, it has to be a change from within. I believe that the change should come from you, and then it should create a ripple effect from the people around us. We can't complain of corruption. We can't complain of our votes being changed if the people are still the problem, you know. So if we decide to change our value system, you know, the value system, what do you value? Do you value money over your future? Do you because of the little they give you, would you mortgage the future of your children, your family, you know, your generation unborn? Now we need to have a rethink of that and begin to make that change. I think that is my message.
Okay, so
well, for me, I did a post today and I'm asking who is not sacrificing for this country. If leaders cannot sacrifice for this country, we're not going to. Again, I just love to give examples that a former United States president goes to Saudi Arabia and finds in his room a gold watch as a way of welcoming, and in the rooms of all his aides, gold watches. And he only looked at the person who told him, said, but you know the rule about this. And he continued his work, because if you touch that watch, you're going to have issues. How many leaders can sacrifice? It's in this country that we have seen gold-plated phones given to people. And they collect them and then insult the person. People are not sacrificing for this country. So I'm asking, who is not ready to sacrifice for this country? If you're not ready to sacrifice, then you've got no reason to be in any leader around here.
Well, we have exhausted our time today on the show, but remember that the change starts with you. If the politics doesn't affect you, the policy would definitely affect you. Have a blessed evening. Happy Independence.